fight me on everything.
You're wrong about that. That is not true.
Yes, that is true. You know I'm trying to hold this all together. I'm so tired of this. Every day the same thing. Fight. Argue. Bicker. Then silence.
Meanwhile, the global financial meltdown continues to plague stocks as market prices drop drastically once again today. China's government suspended trading early in fears of a sell-off, and the European markets have begun placing...
30 years. And this is what it's come to? I just want it to end. We'd probably be happier divorced anyway.
You don't understand. I need this by the end of the day, on my desk, or there's going to be some consequences. You know what? I've heard enough. Goodbye.
Miles divorced about 2 years ago, and even remarried. He doesn't seem any happier. Marriage isn't easy. But I've become so impatient, so focused on my wants, my needs. Maybe the problem isn't who I'm with, but who I've become. With prayer, Jehovah's help, and assistance from the elders, I'm seeing the part that I need to play to improve our relationship. Our issues won't be fixed overnight. We're a work in progress. But we're learning to be more patient, more loving. And we're committed to working on it together.
Well, isn't that lovely? I'm sure everything's going to be just swell now that they're involving the elders and now that they are taking in the counsel from Jehovah's organization. This is a dramatization that gets shown at the Saturday afternoon session of the Exercise Patience Convention during the symposium, Better to be Patient Than to be Haughty in Spirit. The point of this dramatization, as far as I can tell, is to strongly dissuade divorce. And I guess the problem I have with it, well, I have lots of problems with it, to be quite honest. I hate any propaganda that this organization produces that suggests that the Jehovah's Witness organization is conspicuous in offering help and support in everyday mundane situations. So in this case, if a couple is having problems in their marriage, it's only through their faith as Jehovah's Witnesses that they can overcome them. There aren't any secular resources that they should consult. It's not like they can derive any benefit from relationship counselors. It's not like they can, I don't know, do research on psychology and better understanding how the mind works and, you know, any number of ways in which they can work on their relationship without being in a cult. No, they need to have the elders round. They need to have these men pick over their relationship, perhaps in some very intimate details of their relationship, and offer advice that goes along the lines of, be better Jehovah's Witnesses, do more Bible studying, do family worship, prepare for the meetings, attend the meetings, do more ministry, that sort of thing. It's, to be honest, it's the same answer that you get in any situation that confronts a Jehovah's Witness. You know, name any scenario in which a Jehovah's Witness might be struggling, whether it's mental health or temptation or bullying. The answer is always be a better Jehovah's Witness. Do more study, do family worship, put kingdom interests first. It's so predictable, isn't it? And when it comes to this specific issue of marital disharmony, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that a couple in this situation should always get divorced. But what I will say is, and this seems fairly self-evident, every couple is different because every human being is different. And it's extremely unhealthy, not to mention arrogant, to present this cookie-cutter solution for every single marriage. So every single marriage needs to follow this advice. Wasn't it interesting when the guy is at work and he sat opposite his work colleague who's called Miles, and he's saying, oh, well, Miles got divorced and he even got remarried and he's not happy. So clearly divorce isn't the answer. So you're taking a sample size of one. You know, one person who, as far as you're concerned, from your subjective experience, isn't happier. And based on that, you're making your decisions. That's the sort of flawed reasoning that Jehovah's Witnesses are being asked to dwell on. Clearly, there's more to it than that. Clearly, if we just apply a little bit of common sense here and a little bit of sensitivity, we can appreciate that relationships are extremely complicated. And yes, in many cases, marriages that are dysfunctional can be salvaged, but in some cases they can't be salvaged. And what's disingenuous about all this is that the whole reason why they are against divorce is because of their extremist position on adultery being the only basis for divorce, meaning that once you're married, even if you're in an abusive relationship, even if your life is at risk, you need to stay married to your partner, according to the Jehovah's Witness religion. So that's why they're against divorce, because they have this extremist position on adultery. But in the world, in Satan's system of things, the way it works when you're doing your adulting is you figure these things out on a case-by-case basis. And you take into account the fact that, you know what, relationships are all different, people are all different. And yes, in some cases, a damaged relationship can be salvaged, but in some cases, divorce is the best answer. And there is no shame in admitting that.